Women are taught early that pregnancy happens easily, but when they actually try to get pregnant later, they find out that timing matters way more than they were ever told.
Isn't it weird how your whole life you've been taught like how to stop pregnancy, like don't get pregnant, everyone scares you, it's gonna happen on the first try, like blah blah blah. And then like whenever you're ready to start trying, or like my husband and I just got married 2 months ago, and then we're like, okay, like start trying, and then it's like you wake up one day and then everything that you've been doing for the last like 30 years of your life, like just stop doing, and you do the complete opposite, and it feels like, I don't know, it's just a weird feeling. Like when you start trying, when you've been not trying your whole life, it's just a weird, and there's so much more that goes into it that I feel like people don't know. And obviously like everyone's different, and some people are like super fertile and it happens on the first time, and then like other things that like you've been doing, like for instance like sauna for guys, like kill sperm. Apparently we had no idea. We literally have a home sauna, like been doing it every day, like just random things like that. And I feel like it's not talked about enough, and I just feel like people should know more. Like if you're gonna start trying, like you should
I gotta say, when I first listened to this clip, I didn't realize how many times she said like. Holy hell.
prepare like 3 to 6 months before like you actually start trying, because there's a lot more that goes into it, I feel like, than people actually know. But yeah, I don't know, random thought.
Yeah, it's actually pretty devious what she's saying here. You know, when she was most fertile, that's when she was told that, well, she shouldn't be utilizing that fertility. Instead, she was told, pursue other things that actually can wait, that are not on a strict biological, timeline, right? But the fact is, careers can wait, college can wait, travel can wait, fertility will not wait. So by the time she checks off all those things, that could have waited, the one thing that actually does have a hard timeline is suddenly, it's supposed to just turn back on like nothing changed. What she doesn't seem to understand, and I don't even know if you realize she was saying this, basically she's saying it's harder than she was led to believe to get pregnant. Because now they're like looking into, okay, why is it so hard? Well, maybe because your husband's in the sauna all the time. But what she doesn't seem to understand is that it was easy for her to conceive and carry a child to term when she was younger. She mentions that she's now 30 and says she's been preventing pregnancy for a long time. Well, this is why getting pregnant seems to be more difficult than she was led to believe, because actually it is more difficult due to her age. But what's interesting is that she didn't mention that. She doesn't bring up the fact that she has fewer eggs than she did in her 20s, and the eggs she does have are much lower in quality. She doesn't mention age-related decline at all. Instead, she says something like, oh, well, my husband was in the sauna, and that's been causing us problems with fertility. But let's be honest, if this same guy kept going to the sauna and instead tried to impregnate a 20-year-old woman, the odds would be dramatically better, even if he kept using the sauna. So the real issue here, it's not the sauna, it's her age. And she didn't mention that. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's actually pretty interesting how much age gap relationships have been shamed. And I think there's an underlying motive there that doesn't really get pointed out. A really strong way, and it's not the only way, but a strong one for a woman to have children when she's young is if she's in an age gap relationship. Because if she wants to have kids in her, early 20s or even late teens, well, there's got to be a man who can facilitate that. And realistically, that's going to be a guy older than her. Someone who's had time to build resources and stability. So when you combine shaming age gaps, pushing, a career-first messaging, and then, of course, a ridiculous cost of living, you've created the perfect conditions for depopulation of the natives. So feminism shames age gaps, and feminism shames motherhood, right? Don't be a baby factory. Instead, be a CEO.
Well, I just saw my ex-husband of 18 years with his new girlfriend. Unexpectedly saw them. And weird is the only word I honestly can think of, and that's even an understatement. Like, I'm still a little shaky. Like, it's weird because we created 4 humans together, and then we're just strangers. Like, you're just gonna be like, hi, how are you? I'm great.
So can you read, of course you can read the comment on screen. It says, somebody comments, who initiated the divorce? And she says, I filed last August, officially this May. So I don't know why she's confused that this man who she had, 4 children with, all of a sudden isn't that big of a part of her life anymore. It's like, well, this was your decision, you dummy.
So anyways.
So yeah, as you saw on the screen, I included the comment that showed she initiated the divorce because this matters. This is not a woman reacting to outcomes she didn't choose. This was her doing. And I guess what's questionable is what is she actually feeling here? Because she's not really saying it directly. All we can really take from this is body language and tone. She doesn't seem angry. Doesn't really seem embarrassed. Not fear per se. I would say the closest emotion I think is jealousy, or more specifically, kind of like the feeling of being left behind. Something hit her when she saw him with another woman. It may not necessarily be she wants him back, but it is something she wasn't ready to face, and it's that he moved on. You can hear it when she talks about the kids. She's like, yeah, we created these people together. Now we're just like strangers. Now it's just a hi, how are you? She's perplexed. She's realizing that the chapter she closed, it didn't freeze him in it, right? He kept moving. His life kept going. And she's no longer the center of his life, this entire story. And that clearly hurts her, especially because divorce often comes with this assumption that the man is going to be kind of stalled because the asset has been removed from his life and he's just, he doesn't know what to do with himself. So he's stalled while she goes off and finds herself like as a plot from a movie. But instead, she's the one standing still, watching him move forward. And that's the irony, right? She initiated the divorce, but she is reacting like someone who didn't expect the finality of it.
I have a question for the general male public. As a girly who uses dating apps and has been on dating apps for a while, it's not working out. It's not working out, okay? I hate them so much. I would so much rather meet somebody in person, but I don't know where y'all be at. So I need you to tell me, where are the men? Where are the men? Like, where do y'all frequent? And I need you to tell me so that I can go there and then meet somebody in person, because I cannot do the dating apps anymore. They suck so bad. So if you could just let me know where you guys are, that would be really cool. Thank you.
If she wants to meet men in person, the reality is she needs to go to bars. If not through friends or the workplace, that's basically it. That's where people and how people are actually meeting in person now. The way women think couples used to meet is wrong. It wasn't random, cold approaches at the grocery store or, wherever. That's a movie fantasy. In the past, couples met and formed through friends, family, school, neighbors, and church. Warm environments where you can have repeated exposure and foster familiarity. All of that is no longer the case. Women don't meet their husbands in school. None of that high school sweetheart stuff. It's quite rare. One of the reasons is because they're told that is actually too young. And at that point, they don't know what they want and they need to find themselves in their 20s. Family involvement is basically gone. Church is gone for most people. Meeting via neighbors is even below the church. So those pipelines are dead. So what's left? What's new? Well, online dating. That's number one. And then you've got friends, bars, and the workplace. That's it. So when you constantly hear women saying, why won't men approach me? Or how do I meet men in real life? It's because they genuinely don't understand how couples have ever been formed. Again, cold approach has never been even a top 10 primary way relationships start, ever. A random man walking up to a random woman with no context, no familiarity, no shared environment, that they've encountered one another repeatedly, that almost, if a man is to do that, that almost never works. And for it to work at all, it takes massive experience and repetition. That's why it's called cold approach. There's no warmth there. Familiarity, right? Most men don't have that level of practice, and even if they do, the odds are still pretty low. It usually will come off awkward and uncomfortable, and it'll give the woman the ick. Yet, this is what a lot of women think used to happen. Random men just walking up, striking gold, and walking away with a number. I'm not saying that never happens, okay? But it's not like the norm. It's not what these women think. They think that is like the number one way relationships have been formed for some reason. They think that's the number one way couples meet. That's movies, not real life. And of course, that's why they think it is the way couples meet. So when women complain, right, men don't approach them at coffee shops anymore, they're basically revealing their ignorance. They have no idea how couples have been meeting all along, and they're just delusional about reality.